The NFL draft is coming soon, and every year there are trades during the first round that change the course of the draft and the future of those franchises involved. Today, I'm going to discuss some potential draft night trades that could occur and how it would impact the rest of the league. Speaking of the draft, I'll be live streaming on night one of the draft, and if we hit 1,000 subs by then, I'll be giving away an NFL jersey to one lucky subscriber. So, like and subscribe, and let's get into it. Before I predict the big trades coming this year, let's recap last year's night one. There were a total of 9 trades made on the first night of the 2022 NFL Draft. Arizona and Philly traded for big-time receivers in Hollywood Brown and A.J. Brown. The Chiefs and Buffalo moved up to get a top corner, and Jacksonville and the Jets traded into the back end of the first round to get a player they would like to have a 5th-year option for. 9 trades would be great to see again this year, because let's just be honest, it makes it so much more fun to watch. So, on to 2023. I'll start towards the top of the draft with the Arizona Cardinals, who will possibly make 2 blockbuster trades on night one. I feel like they're in a really good spot, being the first team that doesn't plan to draft a quarterback in a top-heavy QB draft. I think there's a great chance they look to trade back. The Cardinals are also in a strange situation with a brand new coach and Kyler Murray likely missing a significant part of the season due to his late season injury. It makes a lot of sense for them to try and get as many picks as they can to fill their many holes on the roster. So, who would make a good trade partner? The Colts make sense to move up one spot and block any other QB-needy teams from taking the guy they want. The Seahawks, Lions, and Raiders could also make moves if they see a QB, possibly Anthony Richardson, with long-term upside, but won't start this year. All 3 teams have quarterbacks they're probably comfortable rolling with for at least one more season, but they aren't on long-term deals or clear franchise quarterbacks. If any of these teams trade up, the compensation will be far greater for the Cardinals and will throw off the rest of the draft. If Detroit moves up from 6, the Cardinals can likely pick up an extra first-round pick next year and still land one of the top 3 defensive linemen in Anderson, Wilson, or Carter. It also would mean that the Colts would have to hope that the 4th quarterback left is one they like. Otherwise, they'll be stuck for another year playing a veteran or having to draft a guy they're not sold on. The other trade the Cardinals will likely make is to move DeAndre Hopkins. It's been rumored that their asking price is a 2nd-round pick, which I think is fair given his age. But Hopkins is still a top 10 wide receiver at worst, and if he goes to a team with a consistent quarterback, then he might be back in the top 5 conversation. I'd look for the Browns to try and figure out a way to reunite him with Deshaun Watson, the Ravens to try and finally have a solid wide receiver, and the Giants to consider making an offer to provide weapons for their franchise quarterback Danny Dollars. If the Cardinals leave this draft with a top 3 pass rusher, an extra 1st and 2nd round pick, and additional cap space, then they've done the best they can. Unfortunately, there's not many scenarios where the Cardinals make the playoffs this year, so their plan should be to fully plan for the future. Every year in the draft, there's a big move up in the first round when a constantly successful franchise sees a guy drop who's high on their board. I like the Chiefs for that move this year. They let Juju Smith-Schuster and Mecole Hardman sign elsewhere, so it's time for them to rebuild the wide receiver core with a top rookie. Of the top 3 receivers in this draft, they likely have a favorite. And with that favorite, they likely have a spot in the draft that if they drop to, they'll make the move up to get them. Look for the Patriots at 14, Commanders at 16, or Seattle at 20 as destination points to move up, as all 3 franchises would likely be happy to move back and pick up additional draft capital. If Jackson Smith-Njigba drops to this area of the draft, I think you'll see several teams looking to come up for him. But if it's the Chiefs that can make it happen, then Mahomes will have a 2nd elite target for 2023 and beyond. Plus, the team they trade up with will be able to build for the future with likely a 1st-round pick next year, plus more in this year's draft. Other teams to look at to attempt a similar move up will be the Ravens and Giants because, as mentioned before, wide receiver is a big need. And there are true big 3 wide receivers this year before you get to the 2nd tier of guys like Josh Downs, Zay Flowers, and others. The last trade I think will happen on night one will be a surprise player getting traded. I don't think it's going to be the Lamar trade. If he even gets traded, I assume it will be after the draft because teams won't want to give up assets this year if they don't have to. I'm thinking more along the lines of another skill position player or pass rusher we haven't considered yet. Some names in my head are Chase Young, Khalil Mack, Courtland Sutton, or Ryan Tannehill. It's possible more than one of these guys could be traded, but whether it be because of money or the team is moving in a different direction, there's a good chance each of these guys could be on a new team in 2023. If it happens during the draft, then it's just that much more exciting. Where would you like to see these guys play in 2023? And who do you want your team to trade for? Thanks so much for watching, and if you made it this far, please hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Let's get 1K before the draft. I hope to see you in the live stream on draft night, and I'll see y'all next time.